Mortal Kombat is a very weird fighting game that managed to stand out among the others by providing a somewhat streamlined story mode, a full roster of unique characters with interesting movesets, and bucket loads of blood. Now, some of these traits would later be copied by its competitors, but they would never really have the same effect on me as Mortal Kombat did. And now, as NetherRealm Studio maintains its dominance in the Western market, drawing in tons of new fans to the series, alongside a new live-action movie coming out soon, I wanted to talk about their first game developed as NetherRealm Studio, and that game is Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9 released back in April 19th of 2011, and brought with it a plethora of modes and features down to bringing back fan favorites like hidden fights, babalities, the crypt, and even a brand new story mode. And that wasn't all. The game gave us new modes to play, like the now famous tag mode for both on and offline, a new set of towers including the equally infamous 300 Tower Challenge, and a new online with different playlists to join, like King of the Hill, and of course Ranked. Yeah, that is a lot to do for just a fighting game. Well, for context, for those of you who don't know, this was, as I said earlier, NetherRealm's first official game as a studio since 2008, when they were formerly called Midway, and were the creators of a not-so-special game, or at least noteworthy, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Yeah, like I said, not the most noteworthy game, but worth mentioning for explaining why NetherRealm probably felt like going all out for this game. And thankfully too, because it paid off. I remember back when this game first came out and watching all the reviews for this thing talking about how innovative the story mode was and how easy the combat was to get into. And for the most part, I'd have to agree. I was just a young preteen when I got into this game, and even I could learn its more advanced mechanics. And funny enough, even the reviewers at the time could recognize that balance for this game's online was practically non-existent. I mean, you probably couldn't tell just by looking at this dude, but he could kill you in literally one combo. And that's not all. Even the DLC characters like Freddy and Kenshi were really annoying to deal with at full screen, just because of how much stuff they could throw at you. And dude, don't even get me started on the online connection back then. You guys think Scorpion Online is annoying now? Well, he is. But try fighting him with no rollback netcode. Ugh, nightmare fuel. Anyway, aside from the lack of balance, there was a lot of fun to be had here. King of the Hill mode was pretty unique and allowed players to watch each other fight for the top spot. It was pretty cool, and let me and many others alike set up mini tournaments or just have fun with a group of friends online. I like this feature a lot just for that last reason alone, but beside that we also had a tag mode for the online, which, was a thing. I know a lot of people back then want this to return, but I'm not so sure they do. I mean, when we were playing it on Mortal Kombat 9, the character combinations were straight up broken, and just not fun to play against. So much so that I think most people at the time just stayed away from this feature, which is apparently why NetherRealm chose not to bring it back in the first place. Now, beside online, we also had the offline content like Towers, Crypt, and Story Mode. Now, for very complicated reasons, much like the continuity of the franchise as a whole, I will not be covering the game's entire story here, just because I would have a lot to say on this, and I've already redone this script like 20 times just because of that reason alone. So let's get into the story mode as a mode. It was good. Probably the best of any fighting game to date. And hell, I know I haven't talked about it yet, but this roster is amazing, choosing to have all the iconic fighters of the past, not just from the 2D era, but the 3D era as well. Even going as far as to create a new and personal favorite of mine, Scarlet, the first official Kunoichi fighter type. You know, like Kunimitsu from Tekken or Ayane from Dead or Alive. But here in Mortal Kombat, it's pretty cool. And don't even get me started on Kratos and Freddy, who would later start a trend that would piss off the most diehard fans of the franchise, myself included. But their inclusion here was pretty great, and I enjoyed what we got at the time. Although, full disclosure, I never got to play Kratos because I got the game on Xbox. Oh my god, I never got to play this game on PS3. But I digress, just don't ever do this again, NetherRealm. This is the worst way to do guest characters. Anyway, with each new character release, we also got something called the Compatibility Pack, which gave out free classic skins for all the ninjas and cyborg ninjas alike. This included old MK2 skins for ninja characters like Reptile, Scorpion, and Sub, and some MK3 skins for both Katana and Melina. Not only that, but we also got free classic fatalities, which was really cool at the time. Very consumer-friendly tactic I wish was practiced a little bit more often in other games, but I digress. Getting over that, we come to the now infamous tower of all Mortal Kombat games. The 300 Tower Challenge. This thing is a freaking meme, dude. Not only does it provide the most challenging boss fight out there out of any Mortal Kombat game, the reward for beating this thing was Melina's Flesh Pit skin. Now don't get me wrong, it's a pretty nice skin, but I don't know if it was worth doing 300 challenges for, you know? And aside from that, this is also where the teddy bear meme was started for her, and would eventually be brought back as a friendship in Mortal Kombat 11, alongside another challenge that involves fighting 3 Shao Kahns as Striker. Huh. Weird. Funny enough, in the end, I always hoped this game would be at least backwards compatible for the next-gen systems, but that doesn't seem likely anymore. Now that they pulled the plug on the servers for PS3 and took it off the Steam store, I doubt it's getting any kind of remaster anytime soon. Which is a shame, because the game was the start of a new era for Mortal Kombat, and it kinda sucks that none of the new players of the franchise won't be able to experience the game for what it was. Hopefully in the future NetherRealm eventually does something about this, but I'm not so sure, and I'm not gonna get my hopes up. But overall, if you haven't played this game yet, I would try to find a way to get your hands on it, because I totally think it deserves your attention.